Morning, everybody. How are y'all doing today? I'm doing great because just yesterday we got 3 new hardware announcements from Valve. They're making a new VR headset, a new controller, and of course, as I'm sure you've all seen by now, a new Steam machine, which everybody has appropriately dubbed the Gabe Cube. And honestly, it looks pretty cool. It's going to be running Steam OS, but because it's a PC, obviously you can change it to whatever operating system you want, and you can basically do whatever you want with it. Now, I will say there are a couple concerns I have. One is we have no idea what the price is yet, so hopefully it's reasonably priced. It seems like it's going to be a little less powerful than a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, so hopefully it costs around $350 or $400, but we'll see. Then again, it isn't a console, it's a full-on PC, so they could probably charge more and get away with it, but we'll see what happens. And then also, the GPU only has 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which is kind of concerning, especially in an era of terrible game optimization where it seems like every game demands at least 12 gigs of VRAM. But I'm keeping an open mind and we'll see what happens. I'm definitely not going to pick one up because, I mean, I've already got my PC. But it does look like a pretty cool little device. Unless, of course, you're a console fanboy. In which case, you're probably crapping your pants over this thing for multiple reasons. Just like the guy we're going to be taking a look at today was when this thing got announced. Now, if you watch Oh No It's Alex's content, you've probably heard of this guy before. He's just a complete idiot. He's a massive PlayStation fanboy. I mean, he literally posted a picture of himself kissing his PS5 Pro at one point. And he had a massive crash out on Twitter yesterday after he tried to label the Steam machine as a console and then got called out for it. Because I already said it earlier, but it's not a console, it's a PC. But these guys see that it comes with a controller and you can hook it up to the TV and suddenly they say it's a console. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just go through this dude's entire crash out on Twitter because it was something to behold. But before we get into that, if you keep coming back to the channel and you keep watching the videos and you've been enjoying them and you haven't subscribed yet, then please consider subscribing. I mean, you're coming back anyway, so you might as well. Not to mention, if you do sub, you get a Swedish fish. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the ultimate Steam machine crash out. So this all started with this tweet. I love that PC fanboys keep claiming consoles are dead while Valve keeps trying to become one. And then, as you can see right here, this post ended up getting community noted because, you know, it's not a console. Also, who's saying that consoles are dead? They're definitely not dead. Are they stagnant in terms of growth? Yes, but they're definitely not dead. And no, Valve is not trying to become a console. The guys who have the biggest storefront on PC are not trying to become a console. They just made their own PC. And of course, this tweet, besides getting community noted, got massively ratioed. I mean, look at this quote tweet by Oh No It's Alex. All he did was quote tweet with the screenshot of them saying, "and it's a PC." Over 29,000 likes. Like, that is a crazy ratio. And this was taken last night, by the way. It's up to 50,000 likes now, and I'm pretty sure the original tweet by Nicola still hasn't even cracked 1K. And honestly, good. I'm glad to see that people are calling this crap out. I saw somebody say take a shot every time somebody calls the Steam machine a console. Do not do this. You will be dead within an hour. Your liver will explode. It probably won't, but still, don't do it. Anyway, this was not the only response that Nicola got to this tweet. Far from it. Tons of people were calling him out in the replies. And so we're going to take a look at those people calling him out and his responses to them because he just keeps making things worse for himself. So first off, he simply responded and said, "Conceptually, it's a console. They want the console audience. PC made easy is console gaming." No, that's not how that works. First of all, PC gaming is already easy, or at least it's not as hard as these guys like to make it seem. These guys act like you have to have a cybersecurity degree to game on PC, and I can assure you, as somebody who is not smart enough to get a cybersecurity degree, you definitely do not. Also, can I just ask, if this is a console, then why is it running Linux? Why did Valve themselves literally say it's a PC? Also, I'm pretty sure a console doesn't let you install literally whatever you want, including an entirely different operating system. It is not a console. It's a really small PC that's designed primarily for gaming, but you can do whatever you want with it. If it were designed only for gaming and you couldn't do anything else with it, then it would be a console. This is like saying the Steam Deck is a console because it's primarily designed for gaming, when it's not. It's a handheld PC focused on playing games, but you can still do whatever you want. Last last I checked, a PS5 or an Xbox isn't gonna let me have feet pics on my second monitor while I play Doom on my primary monitor. Not that I do that, but you know what I mean. I actually have the feet on my primary monitor. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's continue on. So this guy replied and said it's a PC for the living room, and then Nicola replied, so it's a console. No, that's not how that works. If I take my desktop right here, bring it out into the living room, and hook it up to the TV, does that make it a console? Better yet, my Steam Deck, if I hook that up to the TV, does that make it a console? No. This really does just go back to one of the oldest arguments these guys love to make, where it's like, oh, well, with console gaming, you can play on a TV, and I'm like, dude, you can do that with a PC as well. These guys have absolutely no clue how this stuff works. They see a PC hooked up to a TV, they're like, oh, it's a console. The creator of the PC uses an OS that isn't Windows, oh, it's a console. Genuinely tell me, is it fun being this stupid? Because if it is, then you're probably having the time of your life right now. Anyway, let's continue on. So Nicola actually replied to Alex's quote tweet with the "and it's a PC" screenshot, and he said, open the box, plug it in, and play. It's pre-assembled hardware box with a controller. They can call it a PC for marketing. Nobody is buying this just to cripple it with Windows. The PS3 wasn't a PC just because you could install Linux in it. They're after the console players. Okay, so there's a whole lot to break down here. First of all, just because they're after console players does not mean that this is a console. Let's make that very clear. Second of all, I love this. These guys always use the whole, oh, well, consoles, you just open the box, plug it in, and play. Even though there's a million setup things you have to do. You gotta log in, download all the updates and whatnot, install all your games, you know, the same stuff you have to do on a PC. Which, oh, by the way, there are pre-built PCs. Are those consoles because you can just plug them in and play and you don't have to build them or anything like that? I just love that this dude keeps changing the definition of a console just so he can be right. First, PC gaming made easy made it a console. Then, if the device comes with a controller, it's a console. And then in this same tweet, he said that it's a PC for marketing reasons, but it's not really a PC unless it has Windows. That is literally not how that works. A device does not have to have Windows to make it a PC because Linux exists. So I don't get what your point is when you say that nobody's buying it to cripple it with Windows. Like, yeah, are most people not gonna install Windows on this? Probably. That doesn't make it a console. And oh, by the way, with regards to being able to install Linux on a PS3, yeah, it was possible, but you had to jailbreak it and go through a bajillion different steps. Also, you can't be on too recent of a software version or else it just doesn't work. You technically can install Linux on a PS3, but you have to jump through a bajillion hoops. And even then, you're not supposed to be able to do it. On the Steam machine, you're supposed to be able to install whatever you want. That is an intended feature of the device because, again, it's a PC. Anyway, let's continue. Now, Alex actually put out another tweet saying, my only concern about the Steam machine is the 8 gigs of VRAM, which is what I said before. Notice, by the way, this tweet had nothing to do with Nicola. It wasn't in reply to him or anything like that. Alex just tweeted this on his own because he had this legitimate concern about the device. But Alex lives so rent-free in Nicola's head that Nicola responded with, just put more VRAM into it. It's a PC after all, smiley face. If this doesn't show how little this guy knows about PC gaming, I don't know what does. This is the thing. I might not know the most about consoles. And if I don't know what I'm talking about with a console, but I'm still trying to argue about it, I'll either admit that I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'll do my research on it so that I do understand it. This dude literally just says stuff and hopes that he's right. And unfortunately for him, he is never right. You cannot just install more VRAM into a PC without buying a whole new GPU. RAM and VRAM are two different things. RAM are the little sticks on the motherboard of the PC. VRAM is literally built into the GPU. It's like what we were just talking about with installing Linux on your PS3. Technically, it is possible, but you have to jump through a million hoops. In this case, you basically have to be able to physically tamper with the hardware and basically know how to physically make a GPU or modify one to be able to do this. I know he's probably just trying to be a sarcastic asshole or whatever, but it doesn't make him look good at all. And remember, he doesn't have Twitter Blue. He's not even farming this for money or anything. My man is publicly humiliating himself for free, and that's insane. I'm gonna make more money off of this video making fun of him than he is rage baiting people. Or I say rage baiting, but let's let's be real. He's probably 100% serious. All right, so this next one is a response to him saying, the mental gymnastics console fanboys jump through to say anything hooked up to a TV is a console is funny. If PC gaming made easy equals console, then hooking up my laptop to my TV makes it a console too. And then Nicola quote tweeted this and said, it's not mental gymnastics. The whole point of the device is to simplify the experience to make it console-like, because Valve, like me, knows the average PC experience is miserable. Oh, you know this, do you? Well, do you game on PC? Because I'd really like to know exactly how you know the average PC experience is miserable. I don't know where he's getting this from. Like, dude, you have clearly never played a video game on a PC. Shut the hell up. You want to know what I want to do when I want to play a game on my PC? I turn it on, I open Steam, and I click play. It really is that simple. Like, I don't understand where he got this idea that PC gaming is miserable. Oh wait, he's a PlayStation fanboy. My bad. He's just programmed to think this way. I would argue console gaming is a hell of a lot more miserable right now. What with the constant price hikes, getting the worst versions of games, paying to get higher frame rates and resolutions on each generation. But my bad, PC gaming is miserable because you have to update your drivers every once in a while, which literally just involves clicking the download button. It's really miserable here on my PC playing Battlefield 6 at ultra settings at 144 hertz and not having to pay an arbitrary subscription service to play the game online. And can we just acknowledge the fact that he unironically said Valve knows PC gaming is miserable? Yeah, the guys who have the biggest PC storefront by a country mile and who have been putting their focus recently into making new PC games and PC hardware know that PC is miserable. Yeah, okay, bud. Now, these last two aren't him responding to anything. It's just him cope tweeting on his own. First off, the point of this thing is to be a more console-like experience for the living room. PC fanboys. It's still a PC, but it is a PC. Like I said before, these guys see that something is hooked up to a TV and they're like, ooh, console! Also, no, it's not just PC fanboys. It's everybody who's calling you out, dude. Because anybody with an IQ above room temperature knows that this thing is a PC. The fact that people can be this wrong and still be so confident in themselves is kind of concerning to me. You already know this dude probably couldn't sleep last night because he was so mad. Being able to admit when you're wrong is a very important trait to have. Unfortunately, console fanboys don't really have that trait. Alright, and to finish this video off, let's go ahead and take a look at one more tweet. Moron's quoting me with this as a gotcha. If the Steam machine was obviously a PC, why would Valve have to remind and reassure people with this? It literally proves my point that first and foremost, it sells a console-like experience. No. They said this because they knew idiots like you were going to think that this was a console. They knew people like you were going to see a small box hooked up to a TV and think, ooh, it's a console. Also, no. Earlier, you didn't say it was a console-like experience. You said it was a console. Multiple tweets that I've shown in this video have been you arguing that this thing is a console, not a PC. Don't try to backtrack now that your dumbass got ratioed into oblivion. I hope everybody who's watching this takes this as a lesson. Do not be a fanboy, obviously, but arguably even more importantly, just know when to admit that you're wrong. I've been wrong on plenty of stuff in the past. I just admit that I'm wrong and move on. I don't keep digging the hole deeper for myself, but then again, maybe this guy has a humiliation fetish. I really don't know. Honestly, anything is possible at this point. Regardless, guys, with all that being said, that is all I've got for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Join us every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on the gaming channel for gaming streams, and consider becoming a channel member if you want Discord access and awesome emotes. And I will catch you all next time.